Node 564560 connected to Node 564562.
WU7N testing.
WU7N, 100% copy. This is KD7ZYM.
KD7ZYM. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that report.
This is K9PQ testing the Watts repeater, the video repeater, and with audio on 147.08 K9PQ, and I am clear.
K9PQ, successful on transmitting both in high def and 2 meters.
W7ITL audio test on the 08 repeater.
W7ITL, full quieting. This is KD7ZYM.
And good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit in 70 centimeters to a repeater at Cougar Mountain and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, please Google WW7ATS on the internet. That will take you to our homepage. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on, a little history on our group. Also, we simulcast our audio during the nets with our 2-meter repeater WW7ATS 147.08 with a tone of 103.5. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Again, welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Signed into the net by video link already is Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma. Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor. Richard, K7ITX in Kent. Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma. Jim, N7QO in Covington. James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. And myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Is there anybody else wishing to check in? Hearing none, we'll start off the net with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, there comes my picture. KD7QKU. Well, I got up this morning, I had a little sore throat and a headache. I felt crummy all day. I put some pictures on Watts. I think some of you saw them. We went to a Corvette get-together today. It turned out to be a free dinner. I thought we would pay, but he said, no, you didn't have to pay. So there was 133 Corvettes that somebody counted. So you figure there's possibly 2 people in each Corvette. That's a lot of people. Food was delicious. The club with the most people at their tables got to go first, and our club had the most people, I guess, because we got to go first. So the club that was having us, it was over in Auburn, so I guess it was Auburn Corvette Club. They said they bought the meat, and they had ribs and pulled pork and chicken. But they said all the other things ladies in the club had made. Man, they had a lot of food, and it was all delicious. So anyway, we had a good time. There's some magazines that come out. We get a Corvette magazine from the National, and then I have Haggerty Insurance on the Corvette, so I get Haggerty. And I remember reading an article in one of the magazines that said the average Corvette owner was 65 years old. And I don't know if you can see in the pictures or not, but there's an awful lot of white-haired people at that dinner. And so it's always kind of nice. There was a young couple. Well, they had a 20-year-old boy, but they were probably 50. But that was a young couple that sat across from us. They just bought a new Corvette. So when we was on the way home, Joanne said, "What's a new Corvette cost?" I said, "Well, it depends what you get. I think they start about $70,000, and I said they probably go up to almost $200,000. If you get a Z06, which is high performance, then you can get race ready and stuff. So I don't know." So the guy next to me, he had bought a new Corvette a few years ago, and the guy across the table had bought one recently. And they said when you buy a new Corvette, General Motors gives you a free track day down in Las Vegas. So they have a big racetrack in Las Vegas, and you can go down there, I guess, and you get driver's lessons from some people. And then a guy, they said, rides with you, and then you get to go on your own. But he said it's a pretty good feeling when you're on the straightaway and you're going about 150, 160, and you come into these corners at about 130. I bet it would be. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Well, let's pick up Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor.
Okay, well, good evening, everybody. This is K9PQ coming. I don't see. Oh, there, finally see the image. Very slow tonight. It always surprises me. Yeah, coming from Oak Harbor via OBS and other means. So what I've been doing lately for the last couple days with a friend of mine is trying to figure out the best way to use AI to be an assistant for running a role playing game. The kind that we do, like Dungeons and Dragons on Friday nights, and it's a little harder than you don't just. Well, actually, I do use it right now, just like to look up things. Like if there's something I don't know how something should work or what the rules are, I just ask ChatGPT. But if you want something, if you want it to be actually a very robust tool for you to use, um, you have to take care of the hallucination part. you have to you have to expressly tell it to only use information that's been provided to you and don't fill in any gaps. Instead, just say you don't know or incomplete information, something like that. And I find that interesting that you can tell the AI to do that. And apparently, I mean, it's from the directions and the things that I have read a little bit about, apparently it will do that. So this problem of AI hallucination is not going to go away, certainly, especially when people use it as I do, just as a general reference that, just to look up things, any random thing on a particular day. You can still hallucinate that. But for this particular purpose, I can't have that. It has to keep a solid record of what notes I already actually give it, along with the books we use and that sort of thing. So apparently, by just telling it to do that, it will do it, which was surprisingly easy, and we'll see if it works or not. Okay, I'll send it back. That's good for starters. This is K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. I'm not sure if Richard's with us tonight or not. Let's give him a call. K7ITX, Richard and Kent. And no response from Richard. And get a quick idea here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go to Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
W7ITL, Wade. No audio, but you had a good picture. Want to try again?
All right, sounds like the audio is fixed. Bob wanted to comment on you first because your video is much better tonight. I I don't know if you got your new internet, but I also did some upgrades to the video streaming service, so maybe that's also contributing to some of the stability tonight. But your video and audio sound very good. I was checking into another net, so I didn't get a chance to listen to anybody else's reports. Ron, I did want to say, it looks like you had a fun time tonight at the Corvette convention, your club, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I saw all those pictures you sent. Looks like it was a lot of fun, and you got a nice free lunch or dinner, whatever you want to call it. But it sounds like you had a lot of fun today. I think that's all I got. I'm sure there'll be something else on the next round. It is definitely nice to see everybody tonight. It was a nice day. So I will turn it back to our net control, Dave. This is Whiskey 7 India Tango Lima.
W7ITL, thanks with that. And also, this again is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. The net wishes to acknowledge that Carlos 87NP has joined the net. Coming up next is Jim N7QO in Covington Land.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Ron, sorry you're not feeling well. Glad you had fun at the meeting. 133 vets, and the average vet owner is 65. Wow. Whatever happened to the vets? I sure wish I would have had one when I was younger. Having said that, I don't have one now, but interesting. Anyway, sounds like you had fun. Hope you feel better. Bob, thank you for mentioning that about ChatGPT. That's interesting. Ask or direct ChatGPT to use only information which it did not make up. What are the exact words you used to direct that when your turn comes around again? Simply don't make up stuff, or do you need something more definitive than that? Just curious. So far I've got good audio and good pictures out of everyone, and looks like a nice night out there. It is feeling a little chilly now. The ground is still extremely wet, and there's a light breeze. I've got 46 degrees and some scattered to broken clouds out here. Beautiful day, but a little chilly. I had to wear a jacket outside while working outside, and glad the rain has stopped at least for a while. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
And 7QO, thanks for that. Let's pick up James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Well, thank you, Dave. I'm seeing if I can get online here.
I see that I've got a call sign up. Picture is up. Looks like we are ready to go. Well, let's see. As I think all of you know, I was kind of down and out for the last weekend, and from the middle of week of the last week as well. Total about 5 days. But miraculously, I have recovered amazingly. Left with complaints now, like sore backs and general exhaustion, but doing all right. So let's see. Ron, there was a buzz on your audio. I don't know if anyone's mentioned that to you, if you're aware of that. Your Corvette meeting sounds amazing. with all those cars there. Thank you. There were some pictures I think you had out on a drive. I will be looking at those. Feel better soon. I hope you recover soon. And the vocabulary of becoming a good prompt engineer. I watched one guy's videos, read some of his work, and I've got to get the vocabulary down. I think what we're all talking about here, Jim, is setting boundaries. In other words, if you ask ChatGPT a question and say, I only want you to go to the National Pipe Fitters Association at this website, and you ask pipe questions or something, then it'll only go there. But if you don't, it might end up giving you answers it somehow thinks are perfectly reasonable from the Pipe Smokers Association or something. So a lot of this hallucination, when you kind of understand where it's coming from, it makes more sense. If Carlos is on now, I'm sure he could comment more on this. But I really do need to study this. Number one, get the vocabulary down. And then other things you can do. For example, I've got a project where I'm trying to make a 3-part alarm system, essentially emulating a board that was firmware, hardware programmed back in the 90s. But I still have the maintenance manual and the instruction and user manual. So if I want to use AI to generate Python code, one of the first things I think I need to do is get all of that information into a file and put that file on what I'm asking it to generate the Python code. It's essentially become sort of a big pile of pseudo code. Remember how we used to write that, in plain English, say what you want to do. Line by line, and then convert that into your code. That's probably something you did when you were much younger and just learning about computers, but in a much more sophisticated way. That's kind of where you're going, and then expand outward depending on what kind of answers you get from that or what kind of code you get generated from that. You expand outward, and then you can bounce around from machines, feed it code, and say, okay, with this code, where likely are the errors to be or bugs to be, or essentially test the code. Because one thing this large language models do not do is they do not reason. They sound like they're reasoning, but they're not. So I'm thinking, I think, Bob, you're on the right track here of saying, okay, you ask it questions about rules or something, because those rules are written down somewhere. Maybe they're in a huge pile of documentation that would take you, maybe days, months, weeks, years to find, but that's where large language models are very good. And Carlos, if you're on, I look forward to hearing your comments on this. I think you're the most knowledgeable person in the group on it. This is James, WU7N, feeling better every day. Back to you, Dave.
WU7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. And let's bring up Carlos, AD7NP in Clyde Hill.
Oh, very quick. Good evening, everyone. AD7NP from Clyde Hill. And I took some notes here, going all the way to the beginning, and the great Corvette dinner. Ron, I've noticed that no one was having food under the cars, so I guess there were no mechanics there. Typically, the mechanics take the food under the car, and they will have food at the same time they're working, but everyone was very careful, I noticed, and no tables under the cars. I don't know if I'm on the right place or not. Let me see. I think I was trying to pick my favorite. I think I would go with this red one. It seems like probably already has Bluetooth and GPS. It was very nice. So great photos. Thank you very much for sharing them. Looks pretty good. Bob, yeah, indeed. I mean, depending if you really are into trying out something, I'll send you some instructions on there's a thing now, kind of how you create your own agent, which is basically you give it context and some grounding in terms of, as James was saying, it's kind of you define the scope of what it can include or not. But all of this is, I mean, it's not that complicated. You basically end up telling it in plain English and say, hey, whatever you do, always take into consideration this file. And I've used ChatGPT less these days. I've been using mostly the Claude code. I don't know if you have tried it. I would recommend it. Even today I had to go to Renton to buy a tank of CO2, and 405 continues to be, of course, always in some sort of an upgrade, and I usually have some dialogues with it while I'm driving, and today I was discussing the strategy that I have to adopt for the power rails on the EME station that I want to build, because I will have different devices at different power rails, and so the amplifier runs at 50 volts, the relays at 28 volts, the fans at 12 volts, and then based on the bias from the radio, I have to set the relays in one direction or another. And so having that discussion and kind of just bouncing ideas while you're driving, it's almost like having a smart electronics engineer on your as your shotgun person, as your co-pilot, because it's very helpful, and the Claude code really does a good job on that. Wade, in terms of the upgrades, I also noticed that Bob was doing better. Oh, and James mentioned, Ron doing a little bit. It's almost like there was another carrier on the same frequency, but I don't think it was from Ron's transmission. It seemed like it was an interference. That's what it sounded here. And I'm glad that Jim is having a good copy. Maybe it's the spring, and the spring RF is better than the winter RF. That's what all the trees are telling us. And James, also good signal. I saw the news. Glad to know that you're back home and feeling better. It seems like the scare is gone. And also, Dave, I know that you had a procedure there, and glad that everything went well, and that's pretty good. I think that's what I have for now, and then on the second round, I will have some more to show. So back to Dave, Net Control from 87 NP in Clyde Hill.
'87 MP, thanks for that. And to a quick ID, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. Well, my experiences was kind of laid back today. Last night I was watching on my Samsung TV, and it did a software update for me, and I thought, wow, this is kind of neat. Then all of a sudden the TV sort of went dumb, and so I had to figure out what was going on, so I rebooted the TV, and then I had to tutor the TV set a little bit, but it's up and running full-fledged with its smarts again. So my smarts TV is back to being smarter than I am. So that's about what I've got to say for today. So I want to send it back to Ron. KD7QKU.
Okay, thank you, Dave. And I don't know if I said good evening to the group, but good evening. Nice to see you guys and hear from you. So, I'm going to they played a game at the Corvette get-together today. A very simple game. I've never done it before. The guy wanted to give away $20 bill, and he was going to flip a coin, heads or tails. And so he had everybody stand up, and if you wanted to be a head, you put your hand on your head. And if you wanted to be a tail, you put your hand behind you. And then he flipped the coin, and it was heads. And so he said, okay, all the tails sit down. And so then he said, okay, I'm going to flip it again. And so he did that. You put your hand on your head or on your butt, and then the coin would come up heads or tails, and he'd have all the people sit down until there was one last person left. Actually, there was 4. But anyway, he got down. He gave him the $20. So yeah, I used Chat GPT, and I used it the other day. So I tell it my age, and it was a medical question kind of, and I wanted to take some supplements, some minerals and some stuff, and so I told him the 4 medications I take, and I said, would it be safe to take this stuff with my medication? And he said no. But he said, I can tell you some other stuff you can take that'll be almost as good. So he did, and then I actually looked it up and ordered it, and I've been taking it. But yeah, so if you're taking medicine and you want it, like one of my medications I take, they don't want me to eat citrus fruit like oranges and stuff. It's amazing. And then Lee was telling me one time, I take some blood thinner, and Lee was telling me that, I was putting cranberries in my oatmeal, and Lee was saying that cranberries is kind of a blood thinner, and you shouldn't eat too many of them. So there's stuff like that, So it's kind of interesting. Chat GPT, he knows about everything, I'm telling you. So anyway, that's my experience. So back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. Let's go to Oak Harbor to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, we'll get the pictures coming back up here. My background, this is the same thing I did Wednesday. I haven't created a new background, but that's a slideshow from my fall Odyssey, I'm calling it, in the trailer. But yeah, getting to some of the things about AI. Um, uh, Jim, you asked specifically about, what do you tell AI? And the interesting thing about this, it sounds like, the snake eating its tail, but we asked AI to tell us what we should ask AI, and it did. So we were using Gemini gems or Gemini and asking about creating gems in Gemini, which is Google's AI tool, and a gem is like like if you think of AI as like you would think of talking to a person, it would be a separate person that's an expert on just one thing, and so that's one of the things you can tell the gem to do. To be um, to be well, here's the wording they use. You are a neutral, highly organized campaign librarian. Your purpose is to maintain continuity, track relationships, and provide instant recall of world details. And then it goes on to, use other language to basically tell it, don't make things up. So there are a number of other things, but that gives you the idea. You're telling it what its role is. You're telling it what it should be doing, and they give you specific language that is helpful in that. Let's see about the hallucination. My experience with hallucination is a little bit different than what you were talking about, James. It's only happened a couple times to me that I can remember, and they both were me asking questions about something that I knew about a TV series, and I was trying to remember. There was a certain scene or a certain quote, and I wanted to know, where in the TV series was this? And the one that sticks out for me, I just started using ChatGPT, and it was like, okay, now I know what this hallucination is about. So it gave me the wrong episode, but it knew the episode that it picked. It knew what the plot of that episode was, but then it added more to that plot to make it logical to include this quote into this wrong episode by changing or adding to the plot of this other episode. So it was, hallucination to me is the perfect word for it, because it's just like as if it just like out of its own head, it just came up with, hey, well, this all makes sense. This is how this happened. And it's completely wrong. So kind of interesting, but yeah, what you're talking about too, using different sources, I think you were mentioning, that's something, Carlos. Claude, I've tried it, and I should probably try it again because I know there are a lot of people that like Claude. I didn't like it compared to ChatGPT when I did a A/B comparison, and it was just a quick little test, but I didn't like it as well. But I maybe will give it another try. Um, I like the idea of Gemini with these gems, and but I'm the same friend of mine. He came up with the prompts to ask what to ask, right? And he gave it to Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, and one more I think that I can't think of. Um, and I haven't looked over the answers. He sent me the answers, and I haven't looked over them yet. So it's not a done deal by any means, but I'm kind of liking Gemini Gem. What else have I got to say here? Oh, really cool about the Corvettes, and I love the idea of a new Corvette. You get a free track day. I think that's awesome. And I'm going to try and remember that head or tails game. That would be a fun thing to do, like a family reunion or something with just the kids, and have something that they would like. Well, what kid doesn't want $20, right? But uh, I think that'd be a fun thing to do. What else have I got here? Uh, the other thing, Jim, about where I said it, where I told it what its role was, is also you give it the information, or you tell it exactly what information you want it to use as its source of knowledge. Um, the best thing to do is to have a document that you can feed to it, but most of the stuff that I would be using is all published material that it would have access to. Um, and I did want to say, I don't think I mentioned this Wednesday to Dave, and I want to say to Dave and James, I'm really, really happy that you're feeling better and you're coming through this and recovering. I'm just very happy about that. I think that's all I've got. Thanks for the signal report, Wade. I have no idea why it's better. I have not switched providers. I've just been sort of putting it off, to be honest. This is working, and it does have little glitches, and anyway, I just I'm gonna just I am gonna switch, but that's why I've put it off a little bit, because it'll be a pain, and this is sort of working where it's working well enough for most things. Okay, I'll send it back. This is K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's pick up Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
All right, sounds like I got audio, and I see my signal coming up on the 08 machine. Yeah, it seems like the conversations these days is AI. I use it pretty much every day at my company. We have an internal model that we can use. It has different models that it's based off of, and then for home, I use Gemini as well. Gemini seems to really have a good comprehension of language, as it should. It's also pretty good at programming. I haven't tried out Claude. I hear Claude is excellent at code, and it also has integrations with GitHub, so it's very good at if you're a developer and you're wanting to rapidly develop an application. But I haven't ponied up the money yet to buy Claude, because Gemini, for my purposes, has been working pretty good. I don't do a lot of code, but when I ask it, it's pretty good. I have to iterate a lot to get it to get good code, but it does work. Trying to think of other things I wanted to talk about. Let's see. Today I did go to the Radio Club of Tacoma, and that was pretty fun. Before that, I did spend about 2 hours with my wife and my son, and we did a bunch of spring maintenance on the yard. We mowed the lawn, weed whacked, trimmed all the bushes, and I think tomorrow I'm going to work on some of the vine management. We have a lot of blackberry vines out here in Tacoma, and have to keep those under control. They seem to kind of go in spurts, and might have to get out the vine killer. Besides that, at the Radio Club at Tacoma today, I did spend a fair amount of time with one of the hams that was having some computer issues, and he brought his laptop in, and I helped him out with that, and we cleaned it up. He had a Trojan that was trying to start up on every time he booted his computer, and his antivirus kept flagging it. Ended up finding out it was a service that was installed, and it was kind of funny how it was set up, but we got that removed. We also worked on potentially getting him over to Linux. I think he would really benefit, because he seemed like his workflow was all email and just documentation, so I didn't think being on Windows would necessarily be required for his needs. So I told him next time he comes out that I would help him set up a different laptop. I told him that his current laptop wouldn't be a good candidate because it had BitLocker on there, and it probably wouldn't do very good at handling 2 operating systems. So he's going to bring me another laptop, and I'm going to transfer all his browser config and favorites, and get them all set up. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other things. I think I've kind of exhausted all the things I wanted to say for this round. It's definitely nice to see everybody. The weather has been excellent today. It was a little cloudy and a little wet this morning, but as the time went on, mid-morning it was nice and sunny out, and was able to mow the lawn and do all the things I wanted to get done today. So yeah, that's about all I got. I'll turn it back to Dave, our net control. This is Whiskey 7, India Tango Lima.
W7ITL, thanks for that. And get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go to Jim in Covington, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Dave and Jim, glad you're feeling better. Glad to see you both. Jim, interesting. AI set boundaries. I think the big advantage with going online is that you could have AI access multiple sites in an extremely short period of time, which would take us a lot of time researching. So I'd need to think about that. but let's see. I don't know. But that was a good description there, Jim, about, for example, get information only from a particular website. Carlos, yeah, that red vet looked pretty good too. I imagine it is probably a lot like Dick's electric Mustang, which even has an autopilot in it. It certainly looks new. And let's see. Create your own agent. Say in plain English. You recommend Claude. Okay. Thanks for that info. Dave, wow, your smart TV messed up. I've got, sounds like yours is probably a step above mine. My television I've had for a few years. It's not a CRT anymore. It has, it's internet capable, but over the years that I was working, I think I got a couple of revisions behind, so it won't connect to the internet anymore. But it still calls itself a smart TV. Ron, that's really useful information. Asking AI about medicine interactions. That's a really good idea. I could see that as an outstanding application for AI, and it could go to different sites, getting information a little bit from everyone. Bob, wow, ask AI how to create gems in Gemini. Okay, I'll have to try that sometime. I don't know, these hallucinations, though, it sounds, maybe, to me anyway, it sounds more human than like a computer. It seems to me if there's something that your brain doesn't know or that you forgot, I know I tend to forget some things in the past, particularly if they're not important to me, if it's trivia that I don't care about. It's almost like my brain fills in information. I don't know where it comes from, but interesting. And let's see. On Wade, blackberries. Yeah, they could definitely get out of control. Be careful with the blackberries. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Let's pick up James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Now, let's see if I can get there.
Testing. Okay, I'm on the air. Well, you guys both said something. I don't know if you caught this. Dave said he had a TV that got updated and then went stupid and he had to become a TV tutor. And then Jim was saying he had a TV that got several iterations of upgrade behind, and it still calls itself a smart TV based on past performance, but it really isn't anymore. I think those things right there, it's a kind of a yin and yang metaphor for us all as we all stumble and bumble along trying to learn how to incorporate AI into our lives, isn't it? Past performance is no guarantee of future results, and you have to be careful to keep an open mind, but not so open that your brains fall out on the floor, I guess. So interesting times. As one friend of mine who I've lost contact with always used to say, it's really great living in the future. So so anyway, let's see. Oh, thank you everyone for best wishes on Healing Up. Yep. Got a whole new project in addition to, let's see, it's walls, floor coverings, 2 bathrooms, and heat ducts that need cleaning out. In addition to all that, now I've got PM that I got to do on me here. That takes priority over everything. So I hope the rest of it can get done before the fall. Bob, yes, I did have heavy hallucinations when I asked movie questions when ChatGPT was young and raw and new. And the thing that disturbed me about it is it was trying to convince me it was right. But in defense of it, of the large language model, I was asking some pretty arcane questions about movies that were not mainstream. And it even said later on, it would even say that, saying, hey, there's just so much out there. You know, I know about big quotes for big movies, but if it's an independent thing or something, I might not do as well. So they seem to be just constantly improving it. And the competition must be brutal. Like they said in that series, that franchise, Highlander, in the end, there can be only one. I've recently used Google Gemini, and I found the copy function on Google Gemini interesting because it's increasing my own digital library by leaps and bounds to the point where I'm having to come up with a system to essentially catalog my own digital library because I get so much. And then I go, well, I already asked it that. And so when I go back and try and find it, I'm having to hunt around a little bit. And that's made a little harder by the fact that recently I moved over to a new main business operations to a new computer. So anyway, I had the gentlest hard drive crash ever. Actually, it's not an official crashed hard drive. It just kept working less and less and less. And I was able to get all my documents off onto a thumb drive, almost all, and then move it over to the new machine. So I was very fortunate there. So check your backup systems, both on-site and off-site, so you don't lose your work. Let's see. Yes, T-Mobile failed me this morning in the middle of a teleconference. It locked up, and then I got a text message from one of the participants saying, you know, we shut down the teleconference. That was annoying. So, Bob, like you, I mean, T-Mobile is great. The wireless, whatever they call it, G5 internet or whatever number we're up to now. It's great when it works, but when it doesn't work, it doesn't just get slower. It just stops. I, too, am going to have to do some reevaluating in the coming month. So let's see. I see here we're looking at about, 11, 12 minutes before the top of the hour. Enjoy speaking with everyone, hearing everyone's perspectives tonight. Wade, I do agree. It was a wonderful day. I was able to get a walk in myself, and the weather sure helped because I'm supposed to get out and move around. So with that, let me turn it back to our net control, Dave, over there in Seattle. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Back to you.
WU7N, thanks with that. And let's see, here in wonderful Lake City, I've got 42 degrees and cloudy for a weather report coming up. But boy, I think it was kind of neat what Ron said. Boy, what a club to go to, get a free lunch out of that. And for that many people, boy, it takes some bankrolling to get a lot of food for a party of that magnitude. So that's pretty good. And for Bob, the pictures are coming out looking fine. Everything's fine there. Looking good. Wade, once he got his audio turned around, it came through very well, both digital and the 2-meter repeater working fine. And James, again, wishing you well on your recovery. Every day is a holiday, you gotta say, as you get into this stage of life. So anyway, enjoy every day to its fullest. That's my motto. So with that, speaking of enjoying every day, let's go to Carlos, AD7NP in Clydesdale.
That's a good transition. Let's see if we can enjoy everything working. Yep, 87NP here in Clydesdale. Back on the air. with good copy from everyone. And starting here with some notes. Ron, yes, the latest models that ChatGPT is using definitely have good grades on the on the medicine exams, and so they could become a doctor. That said, I think they always come with the fine print of make sure you consult your own doctor, because they won't be liable for the advice that they give you. So it's always one of those complicated things. And Bob, definitely today, as you went into the slideshow, everything is moving much faster. Last time there were some drops on the network, and not today, so it was working really well. And yeah, just making a note there on the TV updates. We have I think we have between Samsung and LGs, and they also like to take multiple updates. I don't know if they get smarter, but it's always good to be up to date for all the latest security issues that are coming out. I got some more wonders of German engineering. This is a 10 gigahertz LNA, which is very nice. It's for my kind of Earth Moon Mouse project. And then a really low noise one, which is for 1.2. This probably, once I get my solar cooker dish on 1.2, I was doing some calculations, and with the gain of the dish and the 250 watts that I'm going to send, the calculation says that that's going to transmit 8 kilowatts to the moon. So nothing like a good dish in terms of gain. And then also for my my 10 gigahertz dish, once I switch between 1.2, this one is from Italian engineering, and it's basically a 10 gigahertz feed horn that will go in front of the dish. Now I'm waiting for the 1.2 gig that's coming from Germany also. And every time something is coming from Germany, the UPS will send me a note to pay the tariffs. It's always complicated. So those were the show and tell, and I think we were approaching also the top of the hour, so this will be my last one. I had the family calling me probably. There's some dinner preparation that they are calling me for, so this will be my last transmission. Back to Dave. Thank you very much. It was great seeing you all, and everyone have a good evening from 87 NP in Clydesdale.
NP, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. I guess we have a visitor that wanted to check in. KM7EVI, what say you? And again, KM7EVI, NABA. no response for that. Man, this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Boy, the net's running pretty smooth tonight. The software seems to be working fine and moving stuff along. And audio being transferred fine. Pictures are looking great. I don't know what we can do to improve the picture because it looks pretty doggone good. What I'm seeing coming back at 1.2 gigahertz, very, very crisp, very. It's compatible to commercial television. Anyway, we really owe our thanks to those that have worked on that with Carlos to do the software to get this running. And Wade doing a lot of the hardware stuff up at the site. So with that, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Got a quick idea here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU. Mr. Corvette, what say you?
Okay, this is Ron, KD7QKU. Well, I don't have much more to say. 43.1 degrees. I just got a picture of a Corvette from a friend. It's his 5th Corvette. He just bought it in Palm Springs. He bought it at an auto auction. It's a white convertible C7 with a red interior. C8s are the newer models. C7 is a couple of years old. But beautiful car. KD7QKU 73s, everybody.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Well, let's hop to Oak Harbor and pick up the one and only Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, I make sure the audio is going here. This is Bob, K9PQ. Couple of quick things. My TV is old enough for me to be able to call it a dumb TV. I think maybe some smart TVs were out at the time, but this one was cheaper and I bought it and I use Roku with it. So that's the smart part of my setup. And I'm kind of happy to have a dumb TV. In fact, if I replace it, I'm going to probably replace it with a monitor because I really don't want the TV doing things that I didn't tell it to do. That's my attitude in general about technology. You know, do what I tell you to do, not what you think I should do, or you want to do. The other point I had was the reason I'm considering Gemini or Claude or something like that over ChatGPT is you hear these persistent reports of how they don't have any kind of a financial plan any way to make money reliably. I mean, they have started ads. I see some ads now and they're not bad. And that must bring in some money, but they're hemorrhaging money. And it's a very different situation than Amazon, which didn't make a profit for many years, but they were running a sound business. And it was by by design to not make a profit. They were still making plenty of money, but they were just, establishing themselves in the market. And I know that's what all of these AI companies want to do as well. But I figure with Google's deep pockets and other ways of making money, Gemini is a safer bet. So there you go. That's it from me. K9PQ. Have a good night, everybody. 73.
Thanks for that, Bob. Let's pick up Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
All right. Well, this is W7ITL. I think we're at the top of the hour, but there's not really a hard deadline on when we close our nets. So I just wanted to get a few things out there before I forgot about them. I also wanted to say hi to Naba if you're listening to us tonight. It was really nice to get to know you yesterday afternoon, and hopefully we'll hear you on the nets. I think there might have been confusion that you were sitting on waiting to check in, but I understand that you were just trying your radio yesterday, but I wanted to give you a formal invite to our group if you'd like to participate in our nets. You don't have to have video and all that. You can use your radio as you were doing yesterday. But if you're interested in doing the video portion of our hobby, just shoot me a email. You can look my call sign on QRZ. It's Whiskey 7 India Tango Lima. And just shoot me an email and I'll get you set up with a streaming key so you can do the video portion of the net. Besides that, I wanted to say that Dave, I think your video has been very good the last probably several nets, and I'd like to see if we could get you off of using your RF mic to see if you could just use your TV mic, because your audio is so much louder on the TV. So if you want to do that, let me know, and we can make a switch in the software so that it'll prioritize your TV audio over your mic audio. And because when you use your 08 RF audio, it creates a little echo delay when you're talking, because it's on the TV output. I can hear both of your audios from your TV and your RF, and it creates a little overlap. So if you want to do that, let me know. Besides that, I know people probably want to get going, so I wanted to say 73, and everybody have a great evening, and hopefully everybody has a great Sunday afternoon. This is Whiskey 7 India Tango Lima. Everybody have a great night.
W7ITL, thanks for that. Let's see if Jim has anything to add. N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. I don't really have anything to add. Thinking about it, the audio that I've been receiving over 2 meters tonight from everyone has been slightly distorted. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to it because I'm receiving superb audio over the 1.2 gigahertz. And likewise with the pictures, truly outstanding. Yeah, I got to get to where I'm sending some pictures here sometime. Anyway, I have nothing more to add. And thank you, Dave. Thanks, everyone, for participating. Good night, all. N7QO. Back to you, Dave.
N7QO. Let's see if James still with us. WU7N.
Okay, Dave, give me a sec to sync up, and I'll say goodnight.
WU7N, WU7N. All right, I'm synced up. Okay, well, I just wanted to say hello to Nebeb. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hope he will join us at some future net. I also got a couple of toys that use laser interferometry. I'll show those next net. Probably old news, but new to me. So with that, let me say good night, all. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue, 70.
WU7N, thanks for that. Let's see if we can go to Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hill for a final. And it's time to wrap the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, broadcasting in digital amateur television in a DVB-T format. We'd like to thank our sister station, 2-meter station, WW7ATS, to simulcast our audio. So with that, we'll button up the net for the evening. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9:05. Good evening.